So you brought your new baby home from the hospital and you're realizing that they really are sleeping a lot, especially during the day. Are they sleeping too much? Are they not sleeping enough? How much sleep do they need? And what even is considered a newborn? All these things that might be going through your mind, we're gonna talk about all of them, so stay tuned for this video. If you're lost in this new journey of parenthood, I want to invite you to grab my newborn sleep course. The link is in the description box down below, and this course is going to walk you through those first few months of parenting, not just in the aspect of sleep, even though it is going to be mostly sleep related, but you're going to have so much more information in this course. I'm even breaking down things that you can do with your child for different experiences during different months of your child's life. You will be surprised how much you can do with a newborn baby that's going to help their brain development and with social, emotional, and language skills and all things down the road. So make sure you grab that course. There are so many terms when it comes to talking about little ones. There's newborn, infant, baby, what's what? When we're talking about baby, it's really an umbrella term in my book, because guess what? My babies, I still call them babies. Your significant other might call you baby, or maybe you call your significant other baby. So for the sake of this video, when we're talking about newborns, we're really talking about that first month, maybe the first 2 months of your baby's life. And then infant is anything above 2 months up until 12 months old. So today we are going to focus on those first 4 months of your baby's life. How much sleep do they really need? What should their wake windows look like? And how much should they be sleeping during the day? So I'm probably not the first to tell you this, but the whole phrase, never wake a sleeping baby, throw it out the window, because you should wake a sleeping baby. In that first month of your baby's life, your baby is going to have their days and nights mixed up, and you need to fix them as soon as possible, preferably. So what I will have you do is wake your baby every 2 hours. You're probably going to find that your baby is going to need to eat every 2 to 3 hours, so you're going to wake to feed anyway. So from birth to 1 month old, your baby is going to need 16 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period. So yeah, your baby is going to be sleeping a lot in that first month. Another surprising fact in that first month of your baby's life is that their wake window should only be 45 minutes. So that might mean you only have time to feed, change their diaper, and have some face-to-face time, skin-to-skin time, or just a little bit of interaction together before your baby is tired and ready for a nap. Speaking of naps, at birth to 1 month old, your baby is going to nap for up to 6 hours a day. Maybe more, maybe a little less, but in general, about 6 hours of daytime sleep is what newborns need. 2 months old, we are still at that 16-hour-a-day threshold of sleep in the first in 24 hours. The difference here is that your baby's wake window is stretching just a teensy bit up to 1 hour wake windows. Now your baby still might need about 6 hours of daytime sleep at 2 months old, but when you break it down by wake windows and nap times, you're going to have a later bedtime these first few months. But it's very important at about, as soon as possible. I know you don't want to set an alarm to wake up early in the morning, but even if you wake up at 7 a.m. every single day and get your baby up at the same time every day, starting at 2 months old, then it's going to be easier for your baby to set their circadian rhythm. 3 months old, this is one of my favorite ages for babies because you're starting to see their personality. They can handle a little bit more of a wake time. So at 3 months, you're up to 75 to 90 minutes of wake time. You're gonna start getting those first little giggles, and your baby is really gonna stretch out from that fetal position, and they're not going to need as much sleep. However, they still need 14 to 16 hours of sleep in a 24-hour period. And the daytime sleep should be spread out. Your baby's still gonna have about 4 naps a day, but they should be sleeping for 4 to 5.5 hours during the day. At 4 months old, sleep is really starting to take shape. Your baby might go through the 4-month sleep regression. I have a video right here that you can check out to learn more about the 4-month sleep regression and how to handle that. But this is the age where your baby's sleep is becoming more adult-like and they're falling into more adult-like sleep patterns. So here, your baby is going to need 14 to 15 hours of sleep in the 24-hour period, and they can handle a 1.5 to 2 hour wake window. This is when life just gets so much more fun at this point, because if you think about a 2-hour wake window, the amount of time it takes you to feed your baby, change your baby, and then maybe go for a walk, get in the car, go for a drive, not necessarily just going for a drive, but you're gonna drive to a place, go somewhere, go to a library story time, go to a mommy meetup, just meet up with some people during these awake times so that you're getting out of the house. Do not just keep yourself cooped up, because you're gonna think about those first few months. You're adjusting to being a parent, you're adjusting to parenthood, whether it's your first kid, whether you're adding another child to your family and you're having that adjustment period. You're probably not leaving the house as much as you did before the baby was born. So once you're at this 4-month age, and it really is a big milestone that your baby can handle longer wake windows, so you can actually go out during their awake times, so you can really enjoy some interaction and your baby can meet other people. Even though they're not going to be social, they are going to be exposed to new faces and new places. Those first few months, your baby does not have their circadian rhythm. They can really sleep on the go. And then after the 4-month sleep regression is where you really should try and have their naps at home as often as possible. But during those first few months, when your baby will sleep anywhere, take it and run with it. Don't stay cooped up. So now you know how much sleep your newborn needs. I want to give you my top 5 tips for newborn sleep. Tip number 1 is not to stress. Okay, I know you were probably expecting something different, but I don't want you to stress about sleep. Everything in the first few months is practice. You can practice independent sleep, and you can also enjoy the cuddles with your baby. And we know that skin to skin time is so important. So if your baby is taking a nap on your chest and you're having that skin to skin time, don't feel guilty about it that your baby needs to be sleeping in the crib. It's fine. You can practice having your baby sleep in the crib, but if you're awake and you're holding your baby and you're having that special bonding time, don't ever feel bad about that. I love following the 80-20 rule, and I generally say that 80% of the time you practice independent sleep and 20% of the time you practice whatever else you stray from your schedule, but that doesn't apply for newborns. It's actually the other way around. 80% of the time, you get your baby to sleep however you need to get your baby to sleep. I would rather have your baby well rested and happy during their awake times than to be overtired because you want them to be independent sleepers from day one. It's just not realistic. So 20% of the time, you can try to lay your baby down in the crib, maybe 5 or 10 minutes before the end of their wake window, and step away and just watch and observe and see if they fall asleep. If after 20 minutes, 10 minutes, I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, if they're not asleep at that point, go ahead and help your baby sleep. So 80% of the time, help your baby sleep. 20% of the time, practice some independence. Practice makes progress. So do not stress about it. Okay, that's my spiel for not stressing the small stuff, because at this point, it is a small thing. The most important thing when you bring home your newborn is healing your body, getting to know your baby, establishing your feeding schedules, and if you're breastfeeding, your milk supply, if you're formula feeding, figuring out how much your baby needs in order to be growing and thriving. Those are the most important things. We will worry about sleep and all of that independent sleep skills and all of those things after the 4-month sleep regression. Tip number 2 is to swaddle. Swaddling is life those first few months. You want to replicate the womb. Your baby was in a tight, little compressed area. Think about how much room they had in your womb. It wasn't that much. So swaddle them up to kind of replicate that environment, and it's also going to help dampen their startle reflex. Tip number 3 3 is to use white noise. Again, we're replicating the womb. It was loud and whooshy in there. So you want to use white noise consistently the entire duration of your baby's sleep. So this is for naps and this is also for nights. Keep the white noise going. Tip number 4 is to use blackout curtains. Now, I love Blackout Easy window covers. Grab the link to buy those in the description box down below. They're my favorite. I've tried a bunch of different brands. Blackout Easy window covers, get them. Your baby is not afraid of the dark. You don't need lights going on in your child's room. Any light that we're seeing is telling our brain that it's time to be awake. So really, whenever your baby is napping or sleeping overnight, they really need to be in pitch black. And then tip number 5 is to take shifts with your significant other. The best way to handle this is that one parent handles baby wake-ups from bedtime to 2 a.m. and then the other parent handles any wake-ups from 2 a.m. to 6 or 7 a.m., whenever you're waking up for the day. But taking shifts is going to help keep your sanity. If you're the parent that is not on the bedtime to 2 a.m. shift, go to bed early. Seriously, go to bed at like 8 p.m., maybe earlier if you're really tired. And then if you have to be up from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. with the baby, if you're feeding, burping, changing, whatever, maybe your baby's just not sleeping because babies are humans and not robots. They're not gonna sleep perfectly, but you will have some sleep under your belt if you just go to bed early. And then if you're the parent who may be on that bedtime to 2 a.m. duty and then you're trying to sleep from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., consider sleeping with earplugs, because if the baby is up during those hours and you have to like get up and go to work the next day, then you're probably gonna wanna sleep with some earplugs so that you can get some sleep. I hope that this video was helpful. Don't forget to grab my newborn sleep course. The link is in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Click this playlist over here for more baby sleep tips. Click this button over here to subscribe to my channel and keep blooming.